Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. I hope you're having a great day. Stay positive, stay focused. Let's get to it. What is the hot topic that's going on YouTube or Instagram? Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Don't forget, the Cash App is Let's Talk About It Media. Thank you for all your love and support.
So don't forget to comment, but be kind, and also turn on the notification bell. That way, every time I upload a video, you'll be the first one to see it. Now, earlier today, I did a video in regards to Jeezy did an interview about a month ago, and he talked about certain situations he went through with his mom, certain situations he went through with the streets and letting certain people go. And he talked about having trust issues. I did that video, I want to say, this morning, probably around 10 or 11 o'clock. So once again, if you find out somebody's using my content without giving me credit, please let me know in the comments. Because I slightly heard something, but then I clicked off because I was too busy, and family members traveling, they're traveling. Let's talk about what's been said. One, we have her calling Freddie a mensch. I had to redo this video, but we're going to get into what she had to say about Freddie, and then what Tamar said, and what Funky Dineva said. So we're kind of going to go backwards, and then we'll save the Freddie issue for last. Basically, what Funky Dineva is saying is what everybody's been saying for the last 2 days. Other than the brother allegedly lives with them. This is the biggest thing. When you're married, you want to be married to that person and live with that person. It's very rare if a person wants to live with the grandmother, the brother. If you're not used to that, you don't want people around. Even if you're traveling, because even when you come back out of town, you don't want a bunch of people around. So let's listen to Funky. Then we'll listen to Jeannie. Then we'll listen to what she had to say about Freddie.
Okay, y'all know I had to call up to Atlanta, baby, and find out what all the hell was going on. Because I know people who are in that circle. Y'all ready for the TV? Yes. It does, Lord. And it's nothing salacious. It is nothing salacious at all. And honestly, Heavenly, you're going to describe them all as things that they could work through. Number one, distance. Not being in the same place often. So that was a factor from what I was told. The number two thing was she likes a social media relationship. He is a very private person. An example that was cited was...
And we get that privacy because Jeannie has been on a lot of shows talking about her relationship. Maybe he doesn't like that.
You know, he didn't like all of that. And so it was just those types of things. The mama has been with them from the beginning of the marriage. So I got the bitch. I got the thing. Okay. Y'all.
So this is the biggest thing. She is an influencer. Jeezy, not so much. Some guys are very private, very laid back. Let's keep listening because you got to catch the tail end.
And it's nothing salacious. It is nothing salacious at all. And honestly, Heavenly, you're going to describe them all as things that they could work through. Number one, distance. Not being in the same place often. So that was a factor from what I was told. The number two thing was she likes a social media relationship. He is a very private person. An example that was cited was that, you know, he would want to have a couple friends over. Next thing you know is she's got 50 people over and a party planner. You know, he didn't like all of that. And so it was just those types of things. The mama has been with them from the beginning of the marriage. Oh, I got the bitch. I got the thing.
So that's the biggest thing. You say, let's have a small, intimate party. And intimate for some guys, and the guys will tell you what intimate mean. Babe, invite 5 or 10. you invite 50 or 60, he's not like, you're not even listening to me about the smallest thing. That's concerning. Let's listen to the next clip.
Lives in the house. You see what I'm saying? I got the debate, and now the brother lives in the house. You see what I'm saying? So that's an issue. Her brother, and then just other things like from what I was told, she likes to walk the daughter to school or whatever, and he's not for that. Saying, if somebody recognizes you and I'm oftentimes not home, people are going to know where we live. So on and so forth. So they were all minor, many minuscule things that I guess are just combined together. Man, get out of here. I thought you were going to have some good tea. And now the brother lives in the house.
So that's the biggest thing. Safety is an issue. You should already know that you're famous. Anything transpire or anything transpire or happens, they would blame Jeezy for not being a responsible dad and a husband. So a man thinks about things way different than a mother does. Jeannie seems like carefree, want to be influencer. Jeezy seems like, let's protect the family, let's keep it small and intimate. And Jeannie's like, I'm carefree, I want to do what I want to do. That in itself can be concerning because you're like, please tone it down. Tone it down for the safety of myself, yourself, and for the child. But then we have the issue in regards to the language. She wants the daughter to speak the language around her and her mom, and then he is speaking English, but maybe 80%, she's speaking what Jeannie speaks with the mom. So that can be concerning. Let's listen to this other clip.
Question: joint custody of their almost. I got to debate that the marriage is irretrievably broken with no hope for reconciliation. And Jeezy's requesting joint custody of their almost 2-year-old baby girl Monaco, and he also posted an IG photo with the caption: "Too focused on who I'm becoming to focus on who's not coming with me."
Yeah, I know. Why do you find this funny? My heart breaks for Jeannie. My heart doesn't. No, because I'll never forget when she told you. When she told you, wipe me, keep me lean, but dart me on the side. Well, dart me done made you a side, sis. So what's going on with that? Yeah, but I've been told y'all she like rappers. I've been told everybody that on the show. But I think she really, really was in love, and I feel terrible. The little baby girl is so cute. Yes. But
And everybody thinks she was in love.
For divorce is over.
Yeah, because usually guys don't strike
y'all
first.
not emotional like that.
Nah, so whatever it was, what could it have been? Right.
There's 2 reasons why a man leaves his wife or files for divorce. Number 1 is another woman pushing him to do it, okay? Or number 2 is something real foul went down. You think that was in love? I feel so bad for her. Yeah, I do. Well, we don't.
State that the marriage is irretrievably broken.
So that's true. Another woman pushing him to do it, or did the wife push him to do it? It doesn't really have to be somebody else. If there's constant conflict, bumping heads, this is what we should do for our children. And I keep telling y'all, find someone you're evenly yoked with. Be in a relationship. We get married, what does it look like? We have children, what does it look like? And let's write it down. So then that way, when it shifts, babe, this is what you said, and you're changing it. This is why I'm upset with you. This is why I have a feeling about XYZ. We had a conversation. Think about it. She married Freddie. They didn't want kids. Then after a while, he wanted kids. Jeannie was crying that, okay, I have to let you go because I want you to be happy. Freddie was like, this has been the happiest thing in my life, breaking up this relationship. So what we thought Jeannie was saying and what Freddie was saying was 2 different things. Okay? So then they congratulated but shaded him about him having kids. But then they were like, wow, Jeannie, but then you really did want to have a child by somebody else? Why did it switch? Okay, so that's a whole situation. Let's get to her comment about anger.
People know this, but it's just something in my family. I've seen it in my grandmother. Saw it in my grandfather, to my grandmother, to my mom, to my aunts, to me, right? But I didn't notice it in myself until I was with Jeezy.
Interesting. Didn't notice in your previous marriage?
No, because it has to do with the type of relationship you have and the type of respect you have for that person to mirror things back to you where you actually would stop you in your tracks and evaluate yourself, you know?
So you had it.
So I
But you
had
didn't
it, but
acknowledge it as a problem.
nobody ever called me out on it. Also, in my line of work, sometimes being a boss isn't so.
But being a boss and being kind and respectful to your spouse is two different things.
And so I didn't notice that I had a hot temper until I got with Jeezy. And here's a person who is my equal and I really respect. And when I would spew some of my old habits, not a lot of people know this, but it's just something in my family. I've seen it in my grandmother. I saw.
Does a man want to be an equal? Or should he be looked at as more superior in regards to providing, protecting, giving love, support? A man's role is somewhat different. So could that be an issue too? Her feeling like they're equals?
And he was like, like, ooh, that's not flying here. And also, it would trigger him to come back at me with things where I was like, what the fuck do you think you are? But I was triggering.
And see, that's the other thing. Men don't like to be cussed at either. Who the F you think you are? Men don't like to be cussed at. Men don't like to be disrespected like that. Because if you're in the wrong, for you to cuss at him, that could be an issue. Because maybe he is trying to protect, provide. Well, look at the situation in regards to him not wanting her to walk to the child's school, drive. So much happens. So many things happen. He's always trying to protect, provide. But it could be an issue in regards to what their goals were. Let's keep listening.
And he was like, like, ooh, that's not flying here. And also, it would trigger him to come back at me with things where I was like, what the fuck do you think you are? But I was triggering him. So through work, we learned that we both have certain habits that to the everyday person, from friends, family, fans, they'll never see it. Mm-hmm. But to the person who loves us deep enough, you can press that button and boom, the dragon comes out. And we both have it. So we had to work on that. But he never told me to fix my temper. I just saw it and I thought, unless I want to stay in this place where I lose this person I love and I stay in my comfort zone of doing what I want to do and function the way I have for the last 40 years where nobody else had to stop me.
Which obviously has done quite well for you.
Right, I could have. But this was something greater that I wanted. And also a great challenge to myself to say, what if, now that I know it exists and the dragon's there, what if I got rid of that? How do I kill that dragon or store it in its place of an old habit? And he was like, like, ooh, that's not flying here. And also, it would trigger him to come back at me with things where I was like, what the fuck do you think you are? But I was.
It just don't seem healthy. It just don't seem good. It just don't seem like they were having the same conversation. And maybe they got married too fast, too quick. Let's listen to what she had to say about Freddie. In all the videos I see, there's outspokenness, there's disrespect happening, there's a lack of communication, there's a lack of understanding for going. Maybe he married her too fast, not knowing what it looked like. And think about it. You marry someone outside your culture, don't think that there won't be culture differences.
In an earlier show, take a look. I feel like I married my version of a Mitch.
Really?
Yes, when he's sick and his mom is around, it's a totally different man that I don't even know.
She disrespected Freddie on the show, so he's gonna speak.
I just found out what that is today.
It's a male.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about this description of you?
You know, one word that she brings up a lot is compassion for people's situations.
You can sit down.
So Freddie has stood up, and they're telling him to sit down.
Maybe I'm just looking for some compassion in situations, you know?
Yes.
Like
From your mother.
Yes, because if I don't get it at home, at least I can get it from my mother. You know?
That was shade to Jeannie.
I really feel. I love it. She had some choice words to describe you in an earlier show. Take a look. I feel like I married my version of a Mitch.
Really?
That's so disrespectful. So Jeannie's no longer with Freddie. Tamar's no longer with Vince. Tamara's still with her husband. And Adrienne Bailon is still with her husband. So the biggest thing is you could tell Tamara and Adrian will speak about stuff, but they wouldn't go overboard. They wouldn't be TMIing. Jeannie didn't have a problem TMI. Tamar was sometimes TMI, and Lonnie Love was very TMI. Very TMI. It was cringeworthy. I stopped watching the show after the first season. I would watch different clips as certain people came on, but then there was always the look that Lonnie was given. It was always the shade that Jeannie would give, the looks to, cutting people off. It just wasn't pleasant. It just wasn't.